responders and everyone involved. I think the last count was 85 lost life, and it's just unimaginable. So we had a moment of silence on behalf of the lawyers and all those involved in the Texas tragedy. For just thank you. Yep. We're very efficient.
Wow.
Before we begin tonight's meeting, I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone of a few important guidelines to help us maintain a respectful and productive environment. This is a public meeting and we welcome your presence and participation. We ask that the audience members remain quiet while others are speaking, refrain from interrupting or engaging in side conversations, and avoid any disruptive behavior. If you would like to speak, please wait until you are recognized and keep your comments respectful and on topic. Inappropriate language will not be tolerated. Thank you for your cooperation helping us conduct this meeting in a civil and orderly manner. And as always, this meeting is being recorded for information purposes. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for pledge.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mrs. Devitt. Here. Mr. Carrera. Here. Mr. Suttles.
Here.
I'd like to ask the trustees for a motion to accept the minutes held in the month of June 2025.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for June 7th.
I'll second.
All right, I have a question.
Yep.
All the special meetings, June 9th, June 16th, June 16th, June 25th. There's an indication in there that there was we were in executive session, motion to go to regular session. That's incorrect. Can't make a motion in executive session.
Oh,
It goes
okay.
straight from, so we can just remove that from all items. And then
Okay. That's fine. Perfect.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time. Okay.
Okay, after the correction, may I have a motion to accept them?
Yeah,
Yes, I rescind the motion and I make a new motion. Once the changes are rectified, we have a motion to approve the minutes for June 2025 with the corrections. So
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Suttles.
Yes.
Mr. Carrera.
yes.
And Mrs. Devitt.
Yes.
I'd like to ask the trustees for a motion to pay the bills in the month of May, because we have not accepted those yet, in the amount of $281,096.54.
Make a motion to pay the bills for the month of May, the amount of $281,096.54.
Second.
And roll call, Mr. Carrera,
Yes.
Mrs. Stebbins? Yes. Mr. Suddles?
Yes.
And I'd like to ask the trustees for a motion to accept the payment for the month of June in the amount of $556,768.55.
Make a motion to pay the bills month of June at a total of $556,768.55.
Second as presented.
And I was prepared in case somebody asks. Well, it was very large for June, and that included the payment for the fire truck, the ambulance, the money for the pull-in, and the parking lot. So,
To the field.
correct. Roll call, Mrs. Stebbins?
Yes.
Mr. Suddles?
Yes.
And Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
I'd like to ask the trustees for a motion to accept the financial statements that I gave you in June.
Short month, correct?
They were, I think, up until that date.
June 11th.
Yes.
So. Motion second.
Okay. Now I'll make a motion to accept the financial statements as dated June 11th, 2025.
I'll second.
And one question I had.
Yeah.
So we're not current then. So when will the next ones be from? Will they take off from here and then be to the end of next month?
You know, they'll probably be, I have not been able to balance the bank yet, but I'm very close. So as soon as I do that, I will run the statement, so it'll have, contain a few, July payments.
I would feel comfortable, more comfortable myself. If we go pay these and we get a second set prior to the next week. Because then we're gonna go a month and a half on.
No, I plan on giving you another set of statements over the next week.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I'm more comfortable with that as well.
Okay, and roll call, Mr. Suddles?
Yes.
Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
And Mrs. Stebbins?
Yes.
Okay, communications from the county engineer regarding permit to work in right of way at Norman Chase Road, and from the county engineer regarding private roads.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Right now, we're going to do public comments on the agenda items only. So if you don't have an agenda, they're over there on the table. If you have any questions of what's going on those items only, now's the time. If not, you can talk at the end of every day and back up for public comment. Okay. We're going to do things a little different because Jamie needs to get back out on the road. We have some street issues tonight. So we're going to start off with Superintendent Frenberg and his report.
Thank you, Chairman Dennis. Just public information, so if you live in the Sharon Hogue area, currently there's no power up there. You cannot get on Sharon Hogue Road from Lincoln Street, and you cannot get on Sharon Hogue Road from Superior Street. Both directions on Sharon Hogue. So the area between Kim Truian, I don't know if you know where Kim Truian is, but it's down by Penn, Ohio, electric on Sharon Hogue. From there back to Wyon's house, near Lincoln Street, there's wires down both ends, so you can't get anywhere in there. Right now, they can't get out of there, so if you live up there, they can't get out. And probably not here.
Be online.
And you can't get out. You can't get out of security. Did you have power? You wouldn't have.
We did have power.
But, yeah, the power's out, but there's a tree and power lines over it. Okay, so I just want to let you know about that. The report for the month of June, we had 1,002 hours of regular hours worked. We had 9 hours of road overtime hours. And that was some hours we dealt with the Route 7 paving. We had 28 hours overtime at the cemetery. Those were all Saturday burials. Total was 1,039 hours. And of that, we had 30 at the administration, 75 in road projects, primarily doing road paving prep. 280 hours routine road maintenance. We were patching holes. We installed some frontage pipe. We had 110 hours equipment maintenance repairs. That was with a few truck problems, and the boom mower was down with some hydraulic issues. We had 300 hours in the cemetery. We had 3 burials and 6 cremation burials. Signs with 6 hours. We put, anybody should know this by now, Davis Street at the intersection of South State Line was a 2-way stop. It's now a 4-way stop. So if you go that direction or you go that direction frequently, be aware that it is a 4-way stop now. So that was a coordination between us and Sharon. I know the police department, we talked about this before, but the police department did have some issues and close calls up there. That's why we made the decision to make that a 4-way stop instead of a 2-way stop. We had 25 hours shop time, 40 hours miscellaneous, and that was primarily just mowing at the green administration building up along the highway. Road information, we had 25 hours. That was meetings, several Wildwood Drive storm sewer meetings, issue 1 meetings, and a couple meetings with Omni Fiber. We had 8 hours of safety training with drug testing, and we had 140 hours at the park. The road department used 53.8 gallons of gasoline, 547.3 gallons of diesel fuel. The code enforcement officer used 14.2 gallons of gasoline. Cemetery used 175.4 gallons of gasoline, 33 gallons of diesel fuel, and the park used 73 gallons of gasoline. That's all I have on the report. If you have any questions on the report itself. Okay, moving to the agenda items. Omni Fiber. We, just for the public's knowledge, Omni Fiber is in the process of installing fiber optics in certain areas of the township. We're going to approve phase 1, which covers the West Hill area. So it's going to be the power box is going to be located in Pennsylvania, on the Pennsylvania side of State Line Road on South State Line. So that's the only box that has power to it. There's a spot we located up there about Ohio Street, and it's on the, like I said, it's on the Pennsylvania side. So from there, they're running, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be like Lorraine Street, Elizabeth Street, Alfred Street, Jane, Edmund, Erie, West Columbia, Sign, Lucy, Cleveland, Marianne, Ellie, Brookfield Avenue, Hazleton. So those areas are going to get fiber optics installed. It's Omni Fiber, so it's going to be basically another internet company that's going to provide internet and high-speed internet and streaming. This is the first phase, so they're going to do some work in that area. We want to start with phase 1 and see how this company performs and see what kind of mess they make. See if they're bad, then the trustees want to have the option to kind of slow down on it, not allow them to go on. They are going to move to other areas that are going to be down in Lower Majory. So there's areas down there that can get fiber optics also. The advantage for the public is you get another company that gives you more than spectrum. So you can pick another company for your internet and your streaming service. I heard they're cheaper, but most of the time they start out cheaper and then they work their way up. So that's going to commence this week. I see there's a motion on there. You guys like to make that motion now, or you want to wait till the end?
That's a question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
So I heard you discussing prior to the meeting And I've watched news media accounts of Brookfield Township. And I don't know if it's the same company, but their problem being that when they came and put the lines in, it's just like when you pave a road, you have to repair all the driveways, all the damages to the yards. This company isn't very quick to do that. I don't want that to happen to Brookfield. I don't want them to put this in and then walk away from it. And then we have to be concerned in the residents, especially concerned in their front yards and the right of way, with their yards disturbed or driveways when it comes to that. And I want to make sure before I approve anything that this company's, I know they're probably bonded, I know they're insured the whole bit, but their track record, even in our community, in our surrounding communities, doesn't appear to be very good.
I don't think that's his company though.
No?
Utilis is actually the construction company. They haven't done any work in this area. So the only company, and I did call to get a reference, but it's the only company that I could get a hold of, a community that I could get a hold of to get a reference was out of Fort Myers Beach, Florida.
So they sell to this company, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Omni does not do the work. It's Utilis is the contractor. And I don't know who the contractor was in Gordon, but this company hasn't done any work in this area. So, and I did call, and I did talk to Mark Ashton, and like I said, Fort Myers Beach in Florida, and he said they did great work, and he brought them. So that's what I based my recommendation on.
I don't want to assume it's the same, if it's not.
Yeah, I didn't talk to anybody in Gordon, but he told me they had never worked. They did some work in South Carolina, and they did work in Florida. So I did get in contact and talk to the guy down there. He's the Mark Ashton is the utilities manager in Fort Myers. And I think that's why we talked about just starting, because there is 5 phases. We said we'll start with phase 1. And yeah, if things don't go well, then
So do we have to do a permit for each phase or is what?
yes,
See, we need to note that phase 1 on the motion.
yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's, I can give you the actual, I'll give you the actual, there's a special code that they give the phases, so if you would want to incorporate that into the motion.
Absolutely, yes.
But, okay, it's MRY 01 F01.
MRY 01-F.
No, F01. So MRY 01 F01. And Utilis is the company that's doing actual construction for Omni-Fire. That's UTILUS, Utilis.
Omni would be the contact.
Omni is the main company, yes. If we have concerns, then we go to Omni, but
So we approve the contract with Omni or Utilis?
the contract should be approved for Omni-Fire.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the permit for on-fire to phase 1, FRY 01-F01, to get fiber optic.
I'll second the motion.
And roll call, Mr. Carrera,
Yes.
Mrs. Devitt, yes, Mr. Sutherland.
Yes.
Okay, the second item is to go ahead and make a motion to award the 2025 road paving program. Yeah, let me get it. So they just, So the county, we were involved in the countywide bid for our paving program. Involved, I think there was 12 parts. Brookfield Township was one of those parts. So the contractor that was the lowest bid was RT Bernal. RT Bernal Paving and Excavating Incorporated. So they had the low bid of $413,000, $859.25.
Motion, Jamie, anything else you need to add to that?
No, after we do the motion, I'll pass this down because there's signature lines. So I have to
Let's make a motion to award 2025 $413,859.
I'll say.
Roll call. Mrs. Gabbard? Yes. Mr. Sutton?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrero?
Yes.
There's two signature lines for the trustees, the ends, on the bottom, and the
But just one trustee.
no, all the trustees.
Yeah, that helps.
Do you want me to move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we talked about doing, hiring our TCO to do, we have a project on hand for oil. One end is gonna be done, Yankee Lake, that's been confirmed, but our end is on the west side, from Albright McKay, beginning of Albright McKay, and east, 1,600 foot. So they have a reclaimer, they're gonna reclaim the road, because that's blacktop. And then they'll do a double treatment on the road. And that estimated cost was $34,200. And we have the money in the construction appropriation.
This is part of the road levy monies?
Yes.
Yes. You ready for that motion?
I am.
I'd like to make a motion to hire Martusio Paving to improve Amy Oil Road from Albright McKay east 1,600 lineal feet at a price of $34,200.
I'll second. Roll call. Mr. Sutton?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Gabbard? Yes.
Well, do you have something about?
Yeah.
You made a motion to pass.
Okay. The last item I have is, I think, Dan, did you see this on, you get an email on this, say Route 62?
Yeah, well, so page here.
Yeah, so, there's gonna be improvement, I guess, next year. But I think we ought to, contact them and see if I can, if they have noise,
I think the important thing at this point is
the drainage.
ODOT is going to announce a hearing phase for this, correct?
Yes,
I hear from our constituents down in the major area adjacent to that, the two intersections that were approved, that there's some people that are not too happy about it. Now, we did have a public hearing on those, but I think it's important that folks know when those public hearings are and that we ask you to attend because it affects all of us, especially your neighborhood. I think it's just going to be a continuation of the paving in Brookfield. It's going to address that one intersection closer to Interstate 80, but it's going to start there and move to the Pennsylvania line. But yeah, I think for starters, we want to be careful where this goes. But yeah, the flooding, the water issues, I don't know if they would address those. They wouldn't when they did those two intersections. If you remember, on address the passage, address that.
Yeah, I'd like to, I mean, I think that's something we should at least bring up and see if they would address that. See if they have any other ideas. So we can try to see if we can take some of that water out of the injury.
And that's still District 4, right?
Yes. I don't see a date,
I think it's mentioned.
yeah, it says comments received by July 31st, 2025 will be considered for project development. So we need to get something to them by July 31st.
Any other questions for Jamie?
I did talk to them about getting the engineers in our office, so told them that we would be interested in doing this. I did say there could be some drainage issues. I think we should take that into consideration. Just another item that they told me I didn't know about, said there was going to be a road closing.
I believe it's July 16th for 5 days, Route 7. Just south of the S curve, south of Campground. All the way down by, they can close all the way to Conference. All the way down. Chestnut Ridge. Yeah, in that area. I believe it starts July 6th.
I think it must be a very short section where they have a sign going northbound. It's not that far, but they have a sign for people going south. It must be change the culvert.
Yeah, doing culvert.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other?
Jamie, real quick before you go, you're working on something for Superior and Sharon Oak.
Yes.
And drainage, where I need to go with that, something you'll help with.
We get prices on it, because it needs, I'm guessing you're planning right now. So,
I thought I turned that over to Aaron.
Did you, Aaron?
so should we go here, seriously, though, I want to fix this, it was $1,500. From Circle, something else, guarantee you go in right now. Because it hasn't
So
stopped.
yeah, we got to fix it. I mean, it's the only thing to do is put drainage
The trench
all the way across, trench drain all the way across. And we looked at that when we were paving, but this is what happened.
Mike, you expressed the $1,000 left over in that project. Can we put it into drainage? I mean,
I mean, that,
there's some responsibility there.
Sooner the better.
yeah. Okay. All right, Jamie.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
Very good, thank you.
Next, we're gonna jump back up to the police report.
For the month of June, your officers responded to 594 calls. There were 68 incident reports, 7 of which were crash reports, and 61 incident reports. They made 25 arrests, 1 drug-related, no firearm related, 1 theft burglary or heating related, 3 assault, domestic violence, or protection order violation, 1 resisting fleeing or obstructing, and 1 arrests. Officers issued 35 traffic citations, 9 of which were equipment-related offenses, and 26 moving-related offenses. For calls, we had 2 burglary or PD calls, 4 assault or domestic disturbances, 1 criminal trespass complaint, 7 vandalism or criminal damaging complaints, 9 thefts, 1 identity theft, 1 reported sex crime, 8 reports of threats, menacing, or telephone harassment, 16 calls for fights or disturbances, 9 calls for suspicious activity, 1 call for suspicious person, 12 calls for suspicious vehicles, 21 traffic or parking complaints. We assisted 7 disabled vehicle motorists, had 16 animal complaints, and 28 alarm calls. This number looks a little low. I do not have time to go over it, but your officers patrolled 10,344 miles, and we used 822 gallons of fuel, which I did not have at the time. We had 10 hours of reimbursed overtime and 104 hours of regular overtime, for a total of 114 hours of overtime for this month. It's a little bit higher due to having an officer off for medical issue and the other officer. So for the report.
Aaron, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I just general information I did not have put on there, but it seems with the new firework laws that a lot of people forgot about the littering laws. And I stopped at 3 houses today to explain to people that they couldn't have things in vacant fields next to them all over the roadways. Ask them to get it cleaned up to those places. They cleaned it up. So anyone in their travels, neighbors, whoever, where you see that they just left messes of fireworks everywhere, give us a call this evening after. We'll stop and we'll let them know that they need to clean them up. Because I didn't shoot fireworks off in my yard, but I had papers in it. So, but other than that, our new fireworks will come in. After we get this rate in, we'll have the final number, which appears to be under $1,000.
Are you going to discuss the supplemental police services agreement with NHA?
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
I had a copy of that you provided.
No, we annually enter into a contract with Provo Metropolitan Housing Authority to provide supplemental protection at their 2 sites, Hillsborough Gardens and Valley West. They have opted to renew the contract for this year, giving us $10,000 to use for overtime police protection in those areas. I just need a motion to accept that agreement.
So it's the motion for the agreement, not to accept the monies, right?
No, just to accept the agreement.
All right, I make a motion that we go into the supplemental police service agreement continually with Trumbull Metropolitan Housing Authority.
Second.
Where's one?
Let's do that.
Okay. Without any vote?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, I forgot.
We're gonna do that other one later on, I see it
Yeah,
down there. Doesn't matter, we're gonna do that.
Okay, anything else?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move on to fire report for chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the month of June, we responded to a total of 235 emergency calls. Of those, 179 were EMS, with 27 in Hartford, 7 structure fires, with 2 in Hartford, 7 motor vehicle crashes, with 3 in Hartford, 1 vehicle fire, 3 miscellaneous fires, 8 public service calls, with 1 in Hartford, 25 reports of wires or trees down, 7 of those in Hartford, and 5 fire alarm investigations. We had mutual aid into the township 32 times and out 21 times, totaling to 235 of those 40 were in Hartford. We had a total of 241.5 hours of overtime. We used 515.7 gallons of gasoline, 135.2 gallons of diesel, totaling 650.9 gallons. Really, the public may not understand this, but we met the original deadline for all Marks radios. We got authenticated with the link layer upgrades. Marks radios are what we use to the state of Ohio to communicate with our dispatch center and amongst ourselves. And the Marks system in Ohio is being upgraded and it's scrambled to get radios upgraded, and then they just extended the deadline. So we were within the original deadline.
You see they extended that.
Yeah. Station 51 was closed 57 out of 60 shifts. And we are working diligently on getting the new fire truck that we bought. We took ownership of it. The crews have cleaned it all up, waxed it, got it ready. We're in the process of putting tools in it now and deciding where we're going to put things and how we're going to operate it. So that's at the station. We're working on that. We're also finishing up the day projects. The crews have been extremely busy. You can see by that 235 number for last month. That's a little on the high side for us on our average. So some of our day projects went on the side. And we will take possession of the new ambulance tomorrow. And then we'll start making the change or the upgrades that we need to on the ambulance to get it put in service. We'll get it labeled and radio put in and everything else. That's all I have.
Good. Just an update. I was able to swing by the fire station over the weekend. I was impressed. That's a really nice truck. So my hats off to Dan and Chief for the leadership to find that truck. That's a $900,000 truck to replace it new. It's beautiful. It's a very nice, well kept, well cared for. So this is an area that's near and dear to our hearts. We don't have $1 million of a new truck. It's $100,000 based on a very good way. I'm impressed. I think it's a service us. Thank you both for helping me on. I really appreciate that.
Chief, did you have a question?
Yeah, we go back. Chris, would you want the mic here? Chris, come on the front.
Yes. Yeah.
I noticed that when I went around.
Yeah, no. It'll be really well. That's how Charles site works. Pretty good for the big meeting. So he's working on it.
Go ahead.
Next is the code report.
Yeah, you do that.
So I had a code report from our code enforcement officer, Mr. Peter Ross. Permits, 1335 Warner Road for roof replacement, 6943 Warren Sharon Road demolition of a commercial building, 6188 Merwin Chase Road accessory garage masonry foundation. New complaints, violations, 8186 Davis Street, trash and debris in rear yard, 5674 Breezewood Lake Drive, general condition of property. 8176 Nicholas Street, general condition of property. 1100 block of George Street, debris in yard. Health department is assisting with this. 7920 3rd Street and 8104 Atlantic Street, high grass and weeds, notice sent to owners. 5621 Warren Sharon Road, general condition of property. 7891 3rd Street, abandoned motor vehicle has been removed by the owner. Address, request for new construction, 6000 block in Merwin Chase Road and 1400 block of Albert Thomas Road. New single-family dwellings to be built. Also, 600 block of James Street, a garage has been constructed. Last thing is here from Trumbull County Land Bank demolition project in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 505-86. All certified letters have gone out to owners and lien holders. Legal advertisement posted on the township website as of July 3rd.
Thank you. Mike is coming here now, so. Thank you. For the month of June, we'd like to pick transportation donations. We've done the read. We have 194 miles. And the volunteers were yes for 11, Slingshot 1, 2 5 1/4, Strictly 1.5 for 18. We got 2 drivers tonight, right? 2 van drivers here. One.
Joe's here.
what Joe said.
This is your chance to collect some more volunteers. Any announcements? More drivers, friendly drivers?
I've only had 1 or 2 trips a month. Not very many trips.
We appreciate your volunteering.
Okay, no old business, new business, we have the chance.
What the hell are you doing?
No, not yet. The watch fire sign. We're going to
Oh, I
discuss.
didn't get it.
No,
Okay, you got it. This is from direct from my fire.
I just got it on that.
So we have a sign at the center, electronic sign. It's been there 5 years now. The reason why I know is that really probably 6, because somebody crashed into it. But it comes with a 5-year data plan that comes with the sign. So we have 2 options now at 5 years is we can now start paying in addition, we have to have connectivity because it sends a signal from here to there are the things on the sign, so it's assessed. There's 2 options. We can go with option A, which is $520, and that's for 5 years, or for $830 would be the remaining life of the sign. It doesn't designate life cycle of the sign, but it's a lifetime guarantee. So once the sign is there, I would expect to get 20 years plus. I think our best factor personally is $830.
Well spent.
I'd like to make a motion that we sign on with watch fire signs for that plan for the remaining life of the sign at $830.
Second that motion as presented.
Roll call. Mr. Self.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mrs. Gavin, yes. Okay, next one was mine, the discussion to purchase the new sign down at the park. We've been going back and forth with this, kind of all discussed using some of the money that we got from ADP to reinvest signage. This one would include disc golf, the adaptive league, and kind of advertise Jenny Junction and the school down across the body, kind of show the different entities that are down the park. It was able to obtain 1 solid quote, and the second one I followed up with again today. They promised me they would have it for me, but they did not. And then the third I got was just for the sign only, so that I wouldn't tell our road department probably had to move close to that. They know what to do. So my thought was, if it was okay, maybe make the motion not to necessarily hire anyone right now, but for it not to exceed $2,650 to move forward. Obviously, if the other company comes back and says, is that okay?
So it's just an open-ended motion that we're going to do it.
Yeah, kind of like we did with.
We have quotes, just don't make it.
Well, the last
Those
one.
don't move the not to exceed that one.
Yeah, usually someone says they're gonna do something, they usually call it, they didn't, so instead of waiting another month, it's gonna take a minute for it to come in and for it to be done. If you're not comfortable, you still.
Well, I'm comfortable with that as long as, and I agree with what you're saying. Sometimes when you ask somebody for a price, they don't give you one, maybe, it's really. But as long as we do our due diligence and get hold of those other 2 vendors, I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because then, we wouldn't have to tell them, you certainly don't tell them the cost.
Yeah,
They're gonna know now, it's public.
it was,
To see if they're in that ballpark, because it's, I guess it's the only very good opportunity. I agree with you as how long do you ask for?
yeah, it was a really nice conversation, we probably have done, so, if everyone's okay with that, I'd say.
Say make a motion.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to purchase a new sign, which would be 3 feet by 5 feet, down at the park. And it would not to exceed $2,650.
Second that motion as presented.
Yeah, that's not a question so much as a comment on that motion. And I wish you would have, I know you have a lot going on, but I wish you would have been able to show that sign
Oh, yeah.
She designed the sign. Shannon does that, that's her thing, in real life job. And,
I can go swim to it right now.
it is very well done. The sign we have there is sufficient right now, it's just a township part of it. But she put a lot of work into it, and I appreciate those efforts.
Yeah, we're trying to kind of, again, the thought is to brand the township and have kind of an identity so it matches the one we have outside here, the police department, and the colors and everything. So you go by, you know that that's another Brookfield spot. So,
The sign is richer.
yeah, and we will have to contact the ODR because their signage is there, and that's the little plaque that's requested, so I'll follow up with those.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Roll call. Like I said,
2,650.
and we'll call Mr. Ferrer.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Sutton.
Yes.
Thank you. If anybody does want to see it, I have a picture on my phone. Okay, next up, I added this, but I did not print out the MOU, but I have it on it, so if someone could assist me, but, sure, it's 10. Okay, this one is the acceptance of the MOU and the motion to extend the police chief's current contract until December 31st, 2025. So we had gone back and forth at our, executive session to figure out where everybody was. So we would just like to extend the contract for Chief Pacific, but we wanted to take one thing out. So I'll read it to you now and discuss it after. Questions? This is a memorandum of understanding, Area Pacific, Brookfield Township, in the matter of authorizing a memorandum of understanding between Brookfield Township and Area Pacific. Now comes Area Pacific and Brookfield Township, both collectively known as parties, and state as follows. Whereas the parties have negotiated an employment contract for the period of July 1, 2024 to July 1, 2025. And whereas the parties agreed to section 11-B, termination at the conclusion of his contract term, which states, this contract shall terminate on July 1, 2025 unless otherwise amended, modified, rescinded, and/or terminated by the Board of Trustees of the Police Chief. Should the board decide not to renew the contract of the police chief without cause, the police chief will have the option to return to the last position held in the Brookfield Police Department prior to being appointed to the position of police chief. And whereas the parties agreed to move section 11-C-E-II, the termination without cause, or the police chief will have the option to return to the last position held in the Brookfield Police Department prior to being appointed to the position of police chief. And whereas the parties agreed to change section 12 term, the effect until date of July 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Now, therefore, Area Pacific and Brookfield Township agreed that the above defined changes shall be made to section 11-B, section 11-C-B, II, and section 12, it shall commence immediately upon agreement. So, yeah.
Just to take out.
Thank you.
Officer becomes the last position held.
That was what was taken.
Right.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
Yep. So just a brief explanation. Mark and I thought, I think we both agreed at the meeting before with this, just to take that part out. It's kind of, Aaron didn't want to be in this position to be able to announce. So we asked if we could get this taken out. So,
Question. And I know this was discussed in the meeting, so I don't want to echo that. As we discussed before, Aaron, you're all right with this, correct, Chief?
Yes, correct.
And I think it's just a technicality. But my concern, and Aaron doesn't share it, so I'm trying to help out, but I understand he's comfortable with it. So what this says in essence is if we had a thing in there, if we decided we didn't want Aaron to be our police chief after 3 years of probation, there was things in there. And then if Aaron decided hey, I don't want this job, it gave him the option to go back into his position as he was our, for a good number of years, he was our investigator. Detective, sorry. So let's just say in the worst case scenario that he didn't have a good first year, meaning a lot of activity. He didn't have a good year. But if he comes to us and says, you know what, I don't want to do this, I'm sorry. It's to add a toll my family, whatever. Where's it leave in? He goes back into the force and gets in the car that he was broken. I'm concerned. He's not, and he must feel very comfortable, but as a trustee, I'm just looking at a what-if scenario that if it does happen, he's willing. It was his idea to extend the contract without any additional pay until we did negotiations with the rest of the guys, which is very noble. But it leaves him hanging if something happens. That's just my concern.
I'm not. Second in seniority anyways.
So everybody else takes care of regardless of the word.
Right, the only person with any time over me in the department is Gerald Hawkins, the resource officer. So if you go by order of seniority, it puts me at the top right there.
Okay, as long as you're, like I said, you told me during the meeting you were comfortable. I wrestled with that because it seems like they're.
Yeah, and it was never the intent. I think for me, I felt like we gave him the year, we just wanted to make sure. And he was enthusiastic about staying.
It's a record memorandum of understanding, we have to make a motion to accept.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the MOU as read, to extend the police chief's current contract to December 31st.
I'll second as presented.
I'll call you later. Okay, roll call, Mrs. Devon? Yes. Mr. Suttles?
Yes.
Mr. Carrera?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
What's that? I don't think it's
All right, this time I'd like to open up public comments. Please raise your hand, stand up if you're comfortable. If you can, state your name if you'd like to give us your address. Go ahead. If not, we can go on to the break. We'll start Judy Redaction to Matt. Raise your hand.
I have a question about the signage at the park.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
new one you're talking about is going to be out by the road, correct?
Yep.
Okay, the sign that is currently on Field Court was lovely when we put it in, but the landscaping has overgrown it and it's kind of.
Yeah, the head of the youth league had asked, actually, we take that down, and we kind of all talked about the circular purpose. because
Right.
It says,
It's inaccurate.
yeah, it's inaccurate. So at any point in time, I could talk to Jamie about it, maybe it's the park guy who could buy it down there one day.
Would there be any other type of? Because it's an active baseball league, it's different, that you would want, that they might be able to provide.
We can talk about that.
Okay.
So that it's fine.
I'd like to
My
see it.
concern is the landscaping that's there pretty much hides what the sign is.
Yeah.
It was really small to put in, but it's.
Yeah,
grown now.
I'll look at it. Okay, sign for my plan.
My name is Tom Strimwell. I live on Gulf Drive. I'm sorry that Janie's not here. Our street was redone last year, and I wish I'd taken some pictures, but there are several places that the road is cracked, I would say, 2 feet away from the edge. And I don't know why it is, it's going to get worse. But at least you ought to be aware of it. I don't know.
Along the edge.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
It's also in the Valley View area, it's near the edge of the road, correct? What you said?
Well, this is on Gulf Drive,
Yes, but it's on the edges of the road.
on the edges of the road, but this far from the edge.
Very similar to what happened in Valley View, and we discussed it with Jamie, is that he indicated to us that that could be sealed maybe and stop it if there's a crack there, but it's all about the base that's underneath it or lack thereof. And when you get near the edges of the road, it's not as thick because of what was there prior to this paving. So I don't know if there's indeed any, if that's a remedy or not, but we'll add it to the list and tell them that go.
There's a new place along to this erosion along at the edge, just off the edge of the paved area. That it's eroded the section out. And now the pavement is falling off because it's losing support because of material being eroded from underneath. But I just wanted to be sure he was aware.
I'm making a note here, teacher.
Anybody else?
What are they gonna do right there?
Hold on one second, right behind them.
Yeah, Carmen, Brazil. Hey, you're talking about on me. Who was the company that was last year? A couple of years ago that put all the fiber optic.
That was a different company. They did it for hire. They explained to us, they were putting it there in case somebody wanted to use it in the future. But it wasn't for a direct for a company. They were doing infrastructure work.
But what about the company that was going around measuring everybody's line? If I asked them about it, that was some other company that was going to do fiber optics above on the line.
This is the only one that's approached us officially as wanting to, because they needed a permit, mostly because they were going to be working in the right of way. I don't know about those other companies. I know the one was called Baseline.
And there's a telephone pole in my front yard. Everybody that's been around there, the tree companies and all that, I got some kind of stuff that's been tripping. And I got 8 grandkids that play out here. And you can see it all in my yard. You can see it dripping from it's like black canister.
So does it look like it's a transformer from OE or something? How high up is it? Is it up high?
Yeah.
Or could it be like from a?
One of the lines, there's like a black, and then a thing that comes like this. There's another one on this side. And
Is that on Broadway?
Yeah, in my house.
Well, that's something to look at. I don't know what it is. It's probably not PCB because they eliminated that from transformers, but whatever it is, and it's black, and I'm really concerned.
Yeah, it's green. I mean, but it's coming out of like those black, it's like a black canister on both sides of the pole. But, they've taken pictures of
Who that?
whoever comes by there that's working out on the street, I showed them.
Oh, okay. We'll have Jamie look at that.
Let's tell Jamie to come down and clean my garage out. He never did. I mean, he never did. No. It was at the bottom of Service Street there. They put that when they did.
He didn't come down and look at that?
When they did service, they put all that gravel on the side, filled that grate. That grate's only got probably that much room in it. And that water just goes like this and right down my driveway, in my garage. And I can get, if I sweep after it dries up, I'll get 5 gallons of buckets of gravel from my driveway. All that stuff is getting bad.
Thanks.
Okay, now, sorry.
Oh, I wanted to know what they're doing up there about John Schuster's. What are they putting there?
They're putting, they're gonna, it's gonna be a used car lot.
That's a
And,
good area for kids.
Another
Pardon
one?
I mean, a good area for kids, but you can't see the guy as it is.
and
Look at a red like this.
unfortunately, the land bank sold that property to them. And it's gonna fix transmissions there, I believe, also. But, we don't have any control, of course, of what could go in there.
Not a light.
A red light?
Red light or something.
That would be a county road that could be discussed with them. It had, they do a traffic count for all that they do, but,
Well, I see a lot of kids, we got a lot of kids in there. And down through my alley, coming through there, almost on Rockside. And I want to know if someone does come through there and clean. Last year, the salt truck came through and made a pile that big. All my yard, I want to open. Back, right, get back down, get back down. And the trees are hanging out down the street. Where you come? Brookfield Avenue, 775, in the alley. There's an alley there, and trees hanging out in Davis Street.
Is it hanging on to Davis?
Yes, you can't see to get out.
Because there's a couple the county has looked at, in between Erie, I believe, and Davis. I don't know if they're the same ones as Old Pine is dead, and there's some trees that are that's hanging over by, but it's closer to Erie.
Well, this is right there where that bar used to be. Bar between Davis and Brookfield, it's all on the corner.
Yeah, Brookfield Avenue?
Yeah.
Brookfield Inn?
Yeah, right up the street from that. And the bushes are hanging over Davis Street. You come out there. You cannot see. Well, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you can't see it, you come out there.
Coming down, David,
Right.
coming down, David, you can't see what's next. The other one.
Yeah,
You
you
can't.
can't see. They don't keep that cutting very well.
Right, that's Trumbull County, we'll give them a call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
How does she brought up Brookfield Avenue? What about all them cars that the people have? Ain't no license plates on it.
That's what I
You
can't
got
say.
a broken in half truck, mobile home behind that, where they're putting that they're parking. I thought they were supposed to empty that parking lot next to the laundromat. There's an RV and a mobile home over there. But you got all them cars with no license plates. I've known people that had one vehicle. Code enforcement was knocking on their door because they didn't have a license plate. There's probably at least a dozen of them.
Code enforcement isn't knocking on their door. What you're talking about. It's a little bit more involved. Yes, no,
I heard some rumors about all that, so. That's, no, I'm not.
the rumor is that once something is a rumor is we've involved the police department, our attorney at the time, and to address all those issues, it's owned by one person.
Yeah.
Those trailers that are there aren't part of that lot that Schuster's brought, it's just additional lot there. And across on Sign Street,
Yeah.
and then also down.
But it's
No,
no lights,
all-
no lights, no running water, nothing in there. How can you just not it?
Because the building department allowed it.
Oh,
Trumbull County Building Department said that, yeah, I wish our code officers here, they don't need to have running. Question the same thing in that shed area. Eventually, he may do that, and you see there's a big cement slab down
yeah, I
there.
see a slab.
I don't know what he's gonna build on that, but maybe he'll run running water, but once again, those are things, and I don't wanna sound like we can't do anything about it, but on things like that, we can't. That's building, we don't issue building permits, Trumbull County Building Department does. And they're aware of it though, because they called us first, we called the building department, and the individual was going to purchase, and that's what happened, unfortunately.
Okay, anybody else? Comments? If not, we're gonna move to trustee comments.
Before we leave, I think we'll go out this door because the lobby's wet. If you run out of here, look cautiously and we come back and go out this door. Is that as far as water? That's not as bad as that.
Yeah, you might want to just exit the store, but yeah,
Just cautionary. Just want to thank the library for the magic truck, a really nice event a few weeks ago. Well done, a lot of work, so it's year 3 in work, as you were to say.
We have our meeting tomorrow, to do a wrap up from this year. Our board count is almost 300 at the library. So we are quite pleased with that.
A lot of work went into it, and I appreciate it. Very nice, guys, and thank you.
Really?
Hey guys, we're trustee.
Could you guys, we're gonna grab a discussion real quick, so that we can all.
We can't hear up very
I was assigned to the water advisory, or water rates advisory committee, when trustee reached out to me I went to the meeting, the initial one. Unfortunately, it sounds like they're planning additional waterway. Thanks.
Okay, I don't have anything. Go ahead.
I apologize.
That's all right.
Just a question real quick?
No. They were asking, what about the old football field?
That has nothing to do with us.
It was sold, the school board sold it to an individual. Once again,
Now, was that agreed upon that can't junkyard?
no, it wasn't agreed upon. There's nothing nothing that allows Brookfield Township to tell anyone what they can do with their property, other than property maintenance. We have no sometimes it was WDs. So if somebody wants to put a junkyard in there, they can. I'm not saying they're going to.
I thought somebody had said something about
It's
the
already
auction
sold, you can't.
was supposed to be with the understanding that it couldn't be a junkyard.
I don't know. I didn't hear that. I didn't go to the school board, so I don't know if they did or not. I didn't hear that.
Finally cut it. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
a couple of feet out.
Yeah, there was a lull and it changed hands, so it's just.
So that could look just like down at the stop sign now, just there.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's sad. It's also-
Does the fence have to have,
Solid. That's it.
does it have to be solid, or can it be a chain link fence like it is down
Pretty sure.
Well, we don't know what it's going to be yet, so I
No,
think you're
the one
alluding
that-
to, if it was a junkyard, it needs to be solid, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the one that's already down.
Yeah, I don't know. Pete may be able to tell, but I know with that other ones, we had, it wasn't a junkyard, but it was a towing recovery down on Old Street. And they were only required to put a chain link fence.
So I'm talking about the one right there across from Dollar General.
Yes, that's, I'm alluding to the same one. A different, it's a chain link fence. I think that's always
Does it have
required.
to be enclosed?
Yeah, that
So that-
constitutes a closed chain link, so that's all.
You mean covered as far as solid?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Because it's junk cars, I thought they'd had to be.
We're on the same page, Conrad. Our hands are tied. We really, I mean,
I want to ask
the code officer and the health board.
Darwin, I'm gonna check into what the, fence has to be. I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to speak out of turn, I'm pretty sure it just has to be enclosed, but I'll check.
I want to ask one thing. Why don't we have a kids playground down there? So the kids have somewhere to play with down Bay Street.
Well, we have,
We don't have a playground for children over there.
well, we have,
Go ahead.
Park, we don't.
at the park, at the township park, we have a public playground, that's on Stewart Road. We have one down in Majory on Mulberry in
Yeah.
First Street. But we did a grant for there, we received a grant. We had looked in the past, and in fact, it was Trustee Lee's, of potentially doing a neighborhood revitalization in the Fern, Hall, Davis Street area. But we have to, the county helps us get those, and we have to process it through them.
Are you gonna try to get one down there?
It would be something we should really try to do as far as they're very, very competitive. They're national grants. Unfortunately, the way things are going now, those grants aren't as readily available as they were in the past. We definitely would like to pursue and get something done in that neighborhood.
Ooh, there's a lot of kids out there. We never had him many kids, now we have.
Okay, that's, my phone is valuable also. It's okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Just remember, go out that way rather than go out. I do think where they can go out, so I'll be just be careful. Oh, did you? Yeah, and then for this next one. Right. They just sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.